Let's go. Yo. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast. And that's facts.
What's up, everybody? What's up, Chicagoland, Chicago Bears fans? Here with another edition of the Chicago Sports Podcast, Monsters of the Madhouse. I am Dustin Jones, coming to you from 4-Star Chicago Sports Podcast. Also represent CSP, obviously. Love tracks. Love everybody in the building tonight. Hopefully you all get something out of this. Hopefully you all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave a comment in the video. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you think of the next head coach, who the next head coach should be. Tell us what you think of your faith in Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren to make the decision on who the next head coach is. I mean, we want to hear from you guys. So please leave comments. Please hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. Chicago Bears, guys, it's been a rough week. We had a lot of good thoughts, good feelings, expectations, high hopes, whatever you want to call it, going into this Sunday. And then those were all smashed fairly quickly. The Niners put a whooping on the Chicago Bears, and now we have more questions than answers. So it's time to look to the future, guys. For Chicago Bears fans, for the Chicago Bears organization, time to look to the future. Because what we're looking at right now ain't too pretty. All we can do is look to the future, and that's all going to revolve around who the Chicago Bears choose as their next head coach. It's been reported by Brad Biggs that Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles, it was just actually Kevin Warren in the report, that Kevin Warren will have the green light to spend whatever is necessary to bring in the next head coach of the Chicago Bears. So money's not an object. Let's write a blank check. Let's get the right guy in here. Okay. My problem with the report is, why is Ryan Poles not mentioned in terms of who's going to be deciding who the next head coach is? I guess Poles will decide and Warren will sign off on it with the money. So maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it was just, it's hard not to, because it was reported today on ESPN 1000. I think it was Waddle and Sylvie, where they were talking about the fact that Ryan Poles was hired under the assumption that he would be reporting directly to ownership throughout his tenure as the Bears GM. And that's since changed since they hired Kevin Warren, and now Poles is reporting to Kevin Warren, and apparently he doesn't like that. It was, again, this is theory from what I remember Sylvie saying, and it's all speculative, but it's just another nice little layer of dysfunction to add on to this Bears season as we trudge through this thing. It's just awful, guys. It doesn't get better. It only gets worse. So again, we're looking to the future. Who's going to be our next head coach? Who's going to be hiring that next head coach? Because I'm still debating that. Like, if this goes as bad as it went on Sunday for the rest of the season and the Bears lose out in embarrassing fashion, that's a chance that Ryan Poles won't be here to make that decision. I'll say that, and I'll say that confidently. I mean, this roster needs to show more than what it's showing right now. And Poles will have that opportunity, I think. They've backed him publicly. They said he's the guy to make that decision. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, we'll see how the rest of the season goes. But this episode is about the Bears having whatever resources and money they need and the green light to spend in order to bring in the next head coach. And my first thought when I hear that reported is, of course, duh, we are in shambles. We have no direction. We have no culture. We have no identity. We have no leadership. You should be writing that blank check. You should be spending whatever it takes to get the right guy in this building to turn this fucking thing around. We need someone to set us on a path of winning. And that's going to start really with just processes and accountability and leadership. So you need to bring that guy into the building. You need to do whatever it takes to do that. So the Chicago Bears, one of the richest franchises in American sports, saying that they're willing to spend whatever it takes to get their next head coach, that's a duh statement to me. It's Matt Eberflus. You can get a Matt Eberflus on the cheap, but you see the results it gets you. All right. So we need to be ready to spend that money on one of these big names. And when I hear that they're ready to spend that money and that they'll spend big money to get a coach, the first two names that pop into my head are Mike Vrabel and Ben Johnson. These are two guys that are going to be highly coveted in this offseason in terms of coaching candidates. These are two guys that are going to demand high value in terms of their contracts to get their services. And they're the two biggest names out there in my mind. And those were two guys that were on the list that Brad Biggs put out as part of this report. It was Vrabel, it was Flores, it was Ben Johnson, and it was Joe Brady. So two of those guys, they pop straight to my head when you're talking about how much money can I pay this guy, because they're going to demand the most money probably on the open market for coaching candidates come this offseason. Vrabel's my preference of those, just to put that out there. I want a guy who's done this before, that's shown that they can establish a culture and have a team with an identity and get the most out of their talent. Vrabel has shown himself to do that. I don't care about defense or offense in terms of what background you're coming from. I just want a leader, a guy that'll hold these guys accountable, and a guy that he'll put his thumbprint on this franchise, and you'll see the team play like how that coach identifies himself. You'll see that. And I think that's Vrabel, and I'd be willing to pay him whatever it takes to get him in here, to be quite honest. Couple names that come to mind that are a little off the wall when it comes to, how much money you can spend on a coach and how much it's going to take to get guys in here. The first one off the wall that comes to my mind is Bill Belichick, guys. Bill Belichick was just offered the job by University of North Carolina. Maybe college football is where Bill Belichick's future is, because NFL players don't respond to the type of coaching that he prefers to practice. So, I mean, maybe the young kids, the more malleable guys, those will be better for a Bill Belichick, and maybe that's what he's thinking, and that's why he's entertaining this college thing at all. Maybe the NFL has passed him by, and maybe he senses that too, that he doesn't expect to get a job in the NFL. I don't know, but I would be thrilled with a Bill Belichick, and I would imagine if he were to get hired as an NFL head coach, he'd be the highest paid NFL head coach there is. So that would qualify under this, I think. Another one is Kevin Stefanski. No idea how it's going to shake out with the Browns once this season ends. They might just decide, hey, we need a fresh start. We need to move on. He's a guy that has been coach of the year twice, was the coach of the year just last year. Great coach, offensive mind, but he has a hit you in the mouth type of attitude that goes with that offense. He wants to run the ball down your throat. I think that fits perfectly with Chicago. That's a guy I'd be willing to spend a lot of money to get. I think if he gets let go and he's out there, he jumps immediately to the top of this list that the Bears are putting together right now for your next head coaching candidates, and he better get a fucking interview. And then another one I'll throw out there, just kind of from left field. I've seen it reported in some other places. I don't remember it being heard when I brought it up last week on the House Hall Hangover, but Marcus Freeman, Notre Dame head coach, 38 years old. He's young. He coaches a great defense, had a great record at Notre Dame since he's been there. Got that team to the college football playoff this year, and we're going to see how they do in that. I mean, Marcus Freeman is the guy that the idea of that excites me a little bit. So, and that's a guy that would command a lot of money on the open market. These college coaches get paid a lot. And then to make that jump from college to the NFL, yeah, you're going to need to open up the wallet to get a guy like that. So Marcus Freeman's a guy I would consider as well. How's this going to work? How is our franchise going to go about this? I don't know. Do you have faith that they know how they're going to do it? I don't know either. I don't know that I have that faith. It's hard to keep faith in a franchise that continually lets you down, that continually chooses the wrong guy over the right guy. Like, it's not like the right guy wasn't there. Like that was an option, and you chose this. And look at the results it's gotten us, and look at where it's gotten us as Chicago Bears fans. Look at where it's gotten this franchise. All right. Listen, Caleb Williams is a centerpiece for a franchise. We got some good pieces here. We need to get the head coach in here that's gonna change the culture and identity of this team and set us on the right path towards winning. And that's got to be the focus. It's the biggest decision that the Bears are going to make. It's the most crucial decision for the next 5 to 10 years of this franchise. Kevin Warren has said as much. So they know it. They understand the gravity of the situation. They understand it's going to take a lot of money to get the right guy in here. But you can have all the money in the world, guys. All the money in the world. It doesn't matter if you pick the wrong guy. You can pay the wrong guy all that money, and then you'll be paying them after you fire them, and maybe still paying Matt Eberflus. That's the worst case scenario, right? But it's a possibility, and let's not put it past this franchise to make this mistake again. I'm trying to have faith. I'm trying to stay optimistic. It's just hard, guys. It's hard. So yeah, you can back up that Brinks truck, but you can back it up to the wrong individual and just set yourself back that much further. So it's just critically important that the Bears get this right. It's critically important that they get the right coaching staff around the guy that they hire, your offensive coordinator, your defensive coordinator, your quarterback's coach, all the way down the line. Like, you need to get the right head coach, and then he's got to be able to hire the right staff to put around him to be successful. And you got to be willing to pay up to get that. All right. There's going to be a lot of head coaches that were offensive coordinators that are probably going back to that offensive coordinator position or defensive coordinator position. You know, the head coaches that have failed, but could still be good options as your coordinators, but they're going to command a lot on the open market too. So let's be ready to pay up, but let's be ready, first of all, to identify the kind of coach we want, and then whittle that pool down to that one guy that you believe is that right person. And hopefully, you know, our GM is making that decision, guys. Hopefully our GM is making that decision, because that's what he gets paid to do. That's what you wrote the check to him to do, right? So let's not do this ass backwards. Let's not overthink it. Just get the best guy. I'd be willing to pay Mike Vrabel, whatever it takes to come here and be the next head coach of the Chicago Bears. Hopefully Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles are simpatico, and they're looking at him very closely. And hopefully they look at everybody and they do their due diligence before they open up that wallet to pay this guy. Again, guys, we got a ton of great sponsors: Bridges Scoreboard, Serendipity Ice Cream, TC's World of Wonders, Elite Icons Framing and Memorabilia. Hit them all up. You hear about them every week when we're on here. Brandon Trax Hyatt, thanks again. Love the network. Love being here. Love the opportunity. 4-Star Chicago Sports is where you can find me on Mondays, the House Hall Hangover. Thursday nights, the Bare Minimum. I do that with Brandon, and I'm here on Monday nights, and I do the solo show on Tuesdays. So we appreciate everybody being in here. Leave a comment. Tell us who you think the next head coach of the Chicago Bears should be, and tell us if you trust the Bears to make that decision on who the next head coach of the Chicago Bears should be. I get the feeling that there's not going to be a lot of trust for this Bears organization, and there shouldn't be. They haven't earned any. But leave those comments anyways, guys. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Everybody have a wonderful night. Thank you so much. Bear down.